Oh, Diesel. It's definitely you, bro. That stinks.
You know, when you're getting ready for camping, and I don't mean packing clothes, I mean all the stuff that you want to fix and upgrade in your setup before you go. I've got a few changes that'll transform our setup for a 3-week long trip, and because I've left it to the last minute, I've only got about 24 decent hours in the shed to do it. So I'm kicking things off with the camp trailer and upgrading the thing that has been holding this trailer back, the rooftop tent. So we are swapping it out for the Outback Tourer 1.2X. Now this is a crazy upgrade for the trailer, and we're going to be living out of this thing for 3 weeks, so we want it to be super comfortable. Firing up the SIG weld and dialing in the plate thickness, which is super easy. I'm adding an extra support brace because I designed this trailer around the old tent and I want it to be super strong for this new one.
Now, I think like we can all agree that the only thing that was lacking on this camp trailer build was the tent. Now, due to restrictions on budget, we went with the King's tent. And honestly, it's not a bad tent for the price, but we did one trip to Morton, it rained for one night and it didn't even rain for long, and our whole mattress got destroyed. Hard shell rooftop tent, if the rain comes in, bounces off the hard shell, runs down your canvas. So, plus we get the added solar panel, which is going to keep our Itechworld gear like really charged. It's integrated, it looks great. The other thing I done is I made the solar panel a quick disconnect on this Anderson plug here. And I did that because if you park this in the shade, you're obviously not going to get any solar input at all. But I do have a portable Itechworld solar panel that I can just hook into that and then run that out to some sun. Keep that panel out in the sun and we'll have more than enough battery, because this has a 160 amp Itechworld lithium in it, so we've got a pretty big battery in here, and keeping it topped up is always like really nice. Now these tents do weigh about 100 kilos, and I was worried about this not staying up, but it just stays up. So if you actually put a little bit of weight on it, it'll come down. But I did cut a little pole that I can just fit in the back here and just chock it up. So if I'm working on it or something, it's not going to come crashing down on me. So now that that is done, we have to get Alicia's car in and fit all of this in. We've got just over 24 hours to do it. But anyway, let's get this trailer out, get Alicia's car in, and get cranking into it.
So if you don't know about this car, this is my girlfriend's RC Colorado, and it's pretty much kitted out, ready to start some touring. We've only done 3 or 4 days in this car, we haven't done 3 weeks yet, and even though it's got some really good parts on it, I think we can make it just a little bit better for this trip.
Right, Alicia's RC Colorado is in the shed, and what we're doing today is we're solid axle swapping it with this beautiful GQ Patrol diff here. If only that were true, that would be absolutely sick. It would be so cool to have this thing sassed. Let me know if you want to see it. We might do it. I'm going to start by doing the aircon compressor in this car because the aircon pump has failed. Well, at least I think it's the aircon pump. The one that's in here was actually out of my Patrol because it's got the 4J as well. I stole that to fix this and now it's not working again. Oh yeah, she's cooked. These electric clutches have this like gel stuff in the back of it, and you can see that's all leaked out there. There would have been a horrible smell. Alicia didn't tell me about a smell, but there would have been a big smell coming from that burnt stuff because you cannot miss it when it goes. Unless your name's Alicia, then you just miss it. So luckily these are pretty easy to change, but that means that there'll be gas in it. I thought it leaked the gas out, but there must be some in there. Okay, mustn't be any gas in there. Definitely no gas, so. Jesus. Just dropped me friggin' thing. That is hot. Right, so old versus new, you can see that goop that I'm talking about. It's come out of there. It's not in the new one, and you should be able to spin this front section because when the clutch locks up, It locks this to this, so they actually move independently now, but this one here is locked up, it's seized. Rightio, I think we move on to not the next most important thing, but the next coolest thing, which is these superior engineering shocks. The reason these are going to be really good is they have 8 stages of adjustment. So you get a completely different feel out of the car from 1 as you do with 8, and they're honestly a really good upgrade for your car. If you go just like a normal fixed shock without the adjustment and it rides like crap, you're stuck with that shock. So I think the remote res is definitely the way to go. Righto, you convinced me. I'm winding up the torsions. Right, so to wind up the torsion bar, you turn this clockwise, and to lower it, you turn it anti-clockwise. What that does is it twists and it puts more tension on the front and then lifts the front up. So I've marked where the bolt is. And I'm probably going to go like 3 turns. Rightio, I've done both sides, and I'd say there's definitely a little bit extra lift there, so that's mad. Never going to complain about free lift. So now I'm going to go ahead and put these shocks in, and then it should ride a lot better.
When installing new shocks, there's a few things that you want to get right. Firstly, I don't tighten the bottom bolts, or any of the bolts for that matter, until the car is on the ground. And secondly, you want to make sure all your rubbers and washers are in the right way. In this case, at the top, it goes flat washer, rubber, then coned washer, which guides it into the seat. Once you put it in the seat, it goes coned again, then rubber, then flat washer.
Late last night, I managed to get the remote res mounted up here. That feels really good in there, and it's nice and easy to get to that dial. So the shocks are now done. Now, what I need to do is run a charge wire all the way to the tow bar. This is a mess, by the way. It's always fun going through other people's wiring and trying to figure out what does what. Admittedly, some of this is mine though. I need to tidy it up. But for now, what we're gonna do is just run some quite thick cable like this all the way to the back of the car, put an ando on it. Yeah, we'll be able to charge the camp trailer then while we're driving, which is recommended. Right, got the cable here, so now I'm just putting on some Anderson plugs. All right, that's the Anderson plug done. So now I'm gonna screw it up under here somewhere. Basically, a trailer just has a little lead, plugs into that, and then that keeps the battery charged. Now, up at the battery is where you wanna put your fuse, but in this case, I'm using an auto reset breaker. I do prefer fuses, to be honest, because they pop and they let you know that there's a problem, but these ones here, they automatically reset. It's still safe, it's still usable, but I just prefer the fuse. I got this laying around, so I'm going to use it. Not many places to mount it though is the problem. This battery is getting very crowded. I think I might just put a longer bolt in. Something like that. Now I've got to cut this as long as the earth, because I need to connect it to the earth. And you cut down the guts, pull it apart. Right, that is all hooked up. The last thing to do is test that we've got power down the back now. Yep. See that light means we've got power. Beautiful. Also, Alicia's rock light's just turned on. I don't know what that's about. Now, the next job is chargers. I need a lot of chargers for my camera gear, and the only one that's currently in the car is hooked up to the head unit and it plays the music on your phone. So I'm pretty sure Alicia's going to be in control of that one. So I've got to put this in somewhere so I can charge my phone and the camera gear at the same time. So I'm thinking about putting this on the back of this center console like that, so that I can just sit in the passenger seat and have a charger. I honestly think that's probably the best spot in here, because there's nowhere on the front. Like there's nowhere up here or anything where I could just mount that. Not easily anyway, and you got airbags and stuff there. Oh yeah, a lot of stuff under here. What is this? I was missing that when I put the roof rack on for ages. I actually ended up getting one from Aussie 4J adapters and fitting it up. It amazes me how something could end up underneath the center console. Look, there's the other one. This also confuses me because this is a barbecue sauce packet, and I would have bet that that is tomato sauce. Since when did they start putting barbecue sauce in a red packet? That's what I want to know. Now, question, what sort of tradesman are you? This is never probably going to be seen. Do you measure it out and make sure it's in the perfect spot? Or do you just kind of line it up and then send it? I think if you can't see it, I'm kind of a line it up and send it type guy, because that's what I'm doing. Because it just does not need to be perfect. So I'm going to swap this one that I've got laying around to that SIG one, because we don't really have any cigarette stuff in the car. And even if we do, there's one in the back on the Alicia's 12-volt setup. So I think 2 USB slots in this will actually be more usable for us. Looks pretty center. I'll go that little bit further, and I'll pop some rivets in it. How's that, mate? Looks pretty good. So that's how the wiring goes, just piggybacked across, comes down, and then we'll find a spot for it in the car. Pinch that, eh? To get this wire up into the dash, I've just put a bit of welding wire through and then taped it around at the bottom like that. Then you can kind of just pull, and I should be able to just help it at this bit here till you can grab it and pull it right through. Really awkward to film, but it's all wired up. I just like literally piggybacked it onto the SIG lighter. You can see we've got a blue light there. So now I'll just quickly see if this charges. Yep, it's charging. It's actually such a sick little, very easy mod to do. So now we're going to move on to something that Alicia does not want me to do. I've got these genuine wool sheepskin seat covers. Now, she doesn't like them because they're hairy and whatnot, but these seats, man, they're so uncomfortable. So I think just a little bit of extra padding is going to really help out on this long trip. These are actually mad. Not even done yet, but oh yeah. These are a little bit better. Definitely a little bit better. Set of good floor mats for the trip too. Rightio, seat covers are installed and God, do they look amazing. I absolutely love these style of seat covers. What do you reckon, Diesel? You reckon they're good? He's having a sniff. He wants to hop up. So much more comfortable than just the factory seats. Like, you have to take my word for it. This is so much nicer. I did, however, just fit this organizer in the back here. So this is like Diesel. What do you reckon? It's comfortable? You like it? I did actually kind of want to talk about this battery though, because it is a brand new product from Itechworld. And if you use my code ROAMLIFE5, you'll get an extra 5% off these. And they are on sale at the moment, so it's a good time to buy. But we've got the 100 amp version of this. They do a 200, which is in the GU. And this 300 is actually for another project. So I'm just going to save it for that. But these are available on their website. And like I said, put my code in, you get some more money off. That code works on all the products on their website too. So these jump packs over here, these are honestly worth their weight in gold. You should always have one of these in your car. So you can pick one of them up too. So guys, definitely check out Itechworld. They are our major sponsor. You can see their banner up on the wall there, and none of these videos would be possible without them. Anyway, that is pretty much the RC Colorado mods done for this trip. The only thing left to do is to go and gas it up and also test drive it to see how these superior engineering shocks go. Oh, diesel. Honestly, I just put my head in to check on diesel and the whole cab reeks of fart. Look at his face right now. It was definitely you, bro. That stinks.